Hey, house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 27 updates and spoilers. My brother has chosen now to start being loud. My apologies, but how's everybody doing today? It's double eviction night, baby. I'm so excited. I feel like we've been waiting for this for so long, and the day is finally here. Okay, looks like we got a lot of fun people in the chat today. Amelia Bedelia, Maria D, Dawn, Cajun Reseller, Dean Dulude. I hope I said your name right. Hanley wants to know who will be flusteredly cutting up a pizza for tonight's episode. I'm still freaking shooked. I'm shook by how Morgan just like went about her business and turned her back to Zingbot. Poor Zingbot just standing there, and everyone's just like, we don't know what to do in this situation. Ugh. But anyway, let's get started. Our house guests of the day, we have Lisa Brown, Gail Murphy Comedy, and Forever Young Zoe. Thank you all so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate you all so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, we still have some time left. So send us an email at madrosed@gmail.com, and we will get you on the list. Just make sure you put house guest of the day in the subject line. All right. So like I said, it's double eviction day. We've got Keanu, Kelly, and Lauren up on the block for the first eviction. And when we left off yesterday, it seemed like the momentum was shifting towards a Lauren or Kelly eviction. Keanu seemed the most safe of the three. Ashley and Morgan have both been making a big push to split up the trio of Ava, Lauren, and Kelly. They're saying those three girls are way closer than we thought. They are not going to vote each other out. They are not going to put each other up on the block if they win HOH. Plus, a 3-person alliance at Final 6 is just crazy powerful in general. And the judges want to be the only 3-person alliance left, right? They don't want a competing 3-person alliance going up against them. So another campaigning point that Morgan was making a lot, she says Keanu is a shield for them, specifically her, right? Because she knows she is one of the biggest targets at this point. No one really wants to go to the end with her. They feel like she is the front runner to win. So she knows she needs another big target around to be a meat shield in front of her. So if Keanu goes, she's going to be way more vulnerable. And that's making her very nervous. So at the time, Vince seemed open to the idea of Lauren going, but you know how he loves to tell people what they want to hear, and then at the last minute he decides against something. He's very wishy-washy, so we have updates on that. But anyway, yesterday evening, Vince and Lauren are chatting in the HOH room, and Lauren's like, I'm scared. What's new? She is not getting reassurances from Morgan or Ashley that they're going to vote to keep her. And why should they? She's not making them any promises either. She's not telling them, if I stay and I win HOH, I'm not putting you up. She's not really doing any of that. So why keep her if you know that she's not going to be good for your game? But they talk about how Lauren made a bit of a mistake the other day. She was telling Ava that she's mad at Vince for putting her up on the block and she can never forgive him and how she'd have to put him up if she won HOH. A lie from Miss Lauren? She told Ava a lie? Because we know she's not planning on going against Vince unless she's lying to Vince as well, which is totally possible, but seems very out of character for her. But she was trying to make it seem to other people like she's not good with Vince at this point and she would be targeting him. Well, Ava told Ashley about this, and Vince and Lauren are like, whoa, I didn't realize how close Ava and Ashley are at this point. They suspect it's because they were both tight with Will, so maybe that bond is still there. Little do they know that Ashley and Ava now have a final 2. Who knows how legit that final 2 is. But anyway, Vince says, Ashley told Morgan what you said to Ava, and now Ashley and Morgan want you out because they think that you're going to target me. They think that you're going to put me up with Morgan and or Ashley, right? So It's not a good look. Vince is saying this could end up being a tie if it's you versus Keanu up on the block, and then I'm gonna have to break that tie. And Lauren is shook. She was not expecting this. She's like, why? Why would they vote me out? I mean, you just talked about why. Because of the stuff you said to Ava and that getting back to Ashley and Morgan. So Vince is explaining, they're really worried about the girl trio. They want to split up you, Ava, and Kelly. And Lauren was kind of like, but we don't even talk game. Like, that's not a thing. Girl, everybody knows it's a thing. But Lauren is freaking out and she's asking, am I going to go home? And if I do go home, you're going to lose me forever. She's trying to play hardball again. But Vince is saying, no, you're not going home. At the worst, it's going to be a tie, and I will vote to keep you. I will not waver. Okay. Vince is also saying it's not even going to be a tie because Morgan and Ashley are going to vote to keep you. They were just running scenarios. They're not actually going to vote you out. And he says Morgan specifically is not going to flip. She looked me in the eye every single night before bed, before she tucked me in, and she promised me that she would keep you. So Lauren is asking Vince, okay, like you're going to keep me, whatever. But what if I win the blockbuster and it's Kelly versus Keanu on the block? We know, of course, that Lauren wants Kelly to stay. She's been saying this for days. She's been campaigning for Kelly, almost more than she's been campaigning for herself. But she's telling Vince, we can trust Kelly. We would have influence over her. We could convince her to do things if she has power. And Keanu's got to go. But Vince, he's not just going along with what Lauren is saying this time. Vince is telling her, I don't feel good about leaving that trio intact. Like, I might have to get rid of Kelly. He's not really committing one way or the other, but he is leaving the door open here to take out Kelly. Meanwhile, Morgan and Ashley are whispering in the storage room. And Morgan says Vince is really worried that everyone's going to think that I ran his HOH, especially if Lauren is the one to go this week. And Morgan is suspecting Vince must be making Lauren feel like she is his actual number one. Because she is. But Ashley says, Lauren's got to go. She says, I don't even like Keanu or Kelly. That's how badly I need Lauren to go, that I'm willing to keep them. But Morgan agrees, of course. She's wondering, how do we get Vince on board with this? How do we get him to be okay with Lauren leaving? So Ashley says Vince really needs to realize that if Keanu is the one to leave, Vince is going to be in danger next week, even if Lauren wins HOH. Because again, Ashley has gotten this information from Ava that Lauren is pissed at Vince. She'd put him up on the block. So she's going to have to go. Okay. So then Keanu and Vince have a chat in the gym. And Keanu he's saying very confident. He's really optimistic that he will be making it through this eviction. So he is looking past this week and he's saying Morgan is going to have to go. Right now, she is the front runner to win this whole entire thing. And Keanu is saying, it'd be really clutch if we could take Morgan out on an elimination, because they're suspecting there might be another mastermind elimination instead of an eviction, the way that Rachel was wrongly eliminated. But they feel like that could be happening again, and it very well could be. But Keanu wants Morgan to go out that way because then they're not going to have any blood on their hands for voting her out. Maybe the jury vote would still be in good standing. Can you imagine if Morgan is also taken out by an elimination? But they talk about how they would be able to win out at that point. If Lauren goes and then Morgan goes, that's two of the strongest competitors out of here. They can get to the end on their own competition wins. Please, no, not a Keanu Vince final two. And again, of course, Vince is not going to want Lauren and Morgan to leave back to back. Those are his 2 meal tickets to get to the end, right? But he's, of course, going along with what Keanu is saying. Keanu was also pumping himself up to win the blockbuster competition. I mean, he's got a good chance, right? I have to say, this group, I feel like they're all very evenly matched. Like any of them could win this blockbuster. But who's ready for another Vorgan argument? As the Vorgan turns. So Vince asks Morgan, what are you thinking about? And Morgan says, the dangers of keeping Lauren. It reminded me of Vanderpump Rules after Scandival, where there was that clip that they kept playing on all the commercials where Tom Sandoval was asking Ariana, like, if she wanted anything from the kitchen. And she was like, for you to die. That's the vibe I'm getting here. But Morgan is talking again about how tight Lauren is with Ava and Kelly. And if Keanu goes, it's basically going to be 3 versus 3, right? The 3 judges versus the 3-girl trio. And she points out Vince is not going to be able to compete in this next HOH competition. So their group will be at a disadvantage. So Vince is like, well, if Lauren goes home, this officially was not my HOH week. And this is scrapped from my resume, right? No one is going to count this for me. And Morgan says, that's not true. Vince says, there's no way that I can spin it to take credit for this. I didn't want to put Lauren up. I didn't want Lauren to go. This was a pointless week for me, right? It's not a good look with the jury. So Morgan reminds Vince, you are in an alliance. Like, you can definitely spin this as a good move. You are making a move to protect your alliance over some like individual ally that you have. So she's telling him, look at the bigger picture here. You were going to have to choose, between Lauren and the alliance eventually anyway. But he's like, but I didn't want it to be now. It didn't need to be now. Vince says it should have been Ava up there. And then he wouldn't care who goes home this week. Okay. So Vince says Ava would put me up 100% of the time. And he says Lauren would never put me up on the block. So Vince says to Morgan, you did what was best for your game by using the veto. So if it's Lauren versus Keanu and it's a tie, I'm sending out Keanu. I need to do what's best for my game. And Morgan is pissed. Morgan's like, fine. If you want to send Keanu home, I'll be following him shortly after. And you can remember this conversation and see that, like, this is what I was trying to tell you. I was going to be the next target once Keanu goes. So Vince is like, well, I'm keeping Lauren no matter what. I have to do it. And if it's Kelly versus Keanu, I will send Kelly out. So then there's some fighting about why Morgan used the veto in the first place this week and how Vince felt like she was inadvertently messing up his game by trying to improve hers and blah, 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 blah. We've heard it all, right? We've heard this already. So Vince is like, can we at least agree on this? Can we agree that if Kelly does not win the blockbuster, that she should be the one to go, whether she's against Lauren or Keanu? Because he says if Kelly goes, Lauren is going to come back closer to me and I will not be on the block next to you in the future. And Morgan is emotional. Morgan says, I am not willing to risk $750,000. And I got to give it up to Morgan here, because how many times have we seen people just kind of like forget that they're playing for all this money? They forget that they just met these people. I respect and admire that Morgan is potentially willing to go against Vince's wishes here because she wants that money, right? She is not going to give that money away. So Vince is like, all right, well, successful HOH week for you then. And Morgan's like, that comment is insane. That I can't believe you just said that. I just used a veto. You made your choice about who should go up. And the fact that you are willing to risk alliance members for Lauren makes me sick to my stomach. It's so dramatic. So they're both so dramatic. So Vince, again, is asking for confirmation that Morgan would at the very least, keep Lauren if she's up against Kelly. And Morgan's like, I don't know. I can't make that promise. I can't make that promise right now. I'm sorry. And Vince is like, Morgan, no. She has to leave. Kelly has to leave in all scenarios. Vince is insisting that if Lauren stays, she will not put him up on the block. And I really don't think she would. But again, Morgan has this information that Ava shared with Ashley, and then Ashley shared with Morgan about Lauren being upset with Vince and wanting to put him up. So Morgan is like, what? So Lauren is lying to Ava? Or is she just blowing smoke in your face? And Vince is like, I do think that maybe Lauren vented to Ava, but she wouldn't put me up on the block. So then not Lauren, Vince is telling Morgan, you promised me that you would keep Lauren this week. And Morgan's like, yeah, but I only agreed to that because you threatened that if I didn't, we wouldn't be friends anymore outside of this game. She says, this is bigger than the game. So these two have like such a toxic thing going on right now with the whole like, I'm not going to be friends with you outside of this if you do XYZ. It's a lot. But Morgan says, you're asking me to keep someone who's targeting me. How many times have we heard her say that this week? But Vince is like, I shouldn't have used anything outside the house. Like, that was wrong of me. But, like, you promised that you would keep Lauren. So Vince tells Morgan straight up, you're not going to sway me on this one. I'm sorry, but you're not going to sway me. And Morgan really did not like that. And she was like, I need to get out of here. I need to go for a walk. I need to cool off. So she leaves the HOH room temporarily. And Vince immediately pulls Lauren in to chat. Oh my God. Can he make it any more obvious? So he pulls Lauren in and he's telling her, don't freak out. I'm just trying to clear the air. What did you tell Ava that has freaked everyone out now? Because he said, I'm hearing like you hate my guts, you're done with me, you want me gone. And Lauren is just standing there, mouth agape, like she can't believe what she's hearing. But Vince says now the perception is that I don't have you. You're more likely to win competitions than the other nominees, and you're going to put me up with Morgan and try to separate us and send one of us out of here. And he says, no one believes me that you're not going to put me up on your block. And Lauren's like, I just talked to Morgan and Ashley, and I told them that you and I are good. Like, I'm not coming after you. So Vince is like, well, they're saying that Ava's your number one now, and you're telling her the truth and blowing smoke at everyone else, including me, which I don't think you are. But, like, that's what I'm hearing now. That's what everybody's saying. So Lauren's like, no. I didn't say that stuff. Like, Ava was venting. She was more frustrated than anyone. I was listening to her talk about it. So Vince is like, all right, well, Ava told Ashley all types of shit and it's blowing everything up now. And Lauren's just like, she doesn't even know what to say. It does kill me when they say on your block. There's something about it where they're like, would I be up on your block? You put me up on your block. Vince says Lauren is going to stay either way because Morgan has to stick to her word. No, she doesn't. She's gamer girl. But Morgan, oh my God, they see Morgan starting to head back towards the HOH room on the spy screen. And Lauren is just like, what do I do? She's panicking. She's like, do I stay here? Do I talk with you guys all together? Like, do I leave? Do I talk to her individually? Like, what do I do? And Vince is just like, I don't know. So Morgan comes in and she's like, Vince, are you like free to talk? Are you guys good? Like, can we talk? Bye, Lauren. So Lauren leaves and Morgan gets right into it. Morgan tells Vince, some things are starting to not add up for me. She's starting to think that Vince has had a final two with Lauren this whole time. And that's why Lauren was so hurt when Vince put her up on the block. And Morgan's like, I'm kind of feeling like you were telling me that I was your number one because everybody else thinks that. She clocked it. And Vince is like, oh, so what? And you think that I've been BSing you? for 70 something days. Morgan says, I don't know. But the fact that Lauren is telling you some things and telling me something different doesn't sit well with me. Why would she tell me that you and me are both good for her game, and yet I'm ending up on her block? I'm ending up on her block. She's blowing smoke in my face. It was also killing me that Morgan kept saying blowing smoke in my face, your face. Isn't it like blowing smoke up your ass? Like, it was killing me. But anyway, Ashley comes in and Ashley's like, oh, are you guys like having a serious conversation? Oops. But no, Ashley shares how Lauren's story has been changing. Her pitch has been changing. She says, yesterday, Lauren was telling me that she would not touch Kelly. She would not put Kelly up on the block. But now she's saying she would nominate Kelly. And what's going on here? Like, why is she suddenly targeting Kelly and not you, Vince? And Vince is like, well, me and Lauren, like, we had a really good combo, and she forgives me now, and she wouldn't put me up. We just had a really good conversation. Sorry, I swallowed a yawn. And Morgan and Ashley are not buying this. Ashley is suspecting that Vince told Lauren what to say to the two of them. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. Clocked again. Vince is getting clocked left and right. I mean, he's really clowning himself here because he did, in fact, give Lauren some talking points, told her exactly what to say to Morgan and Ashley, and they're figuring it out. They are noticing, wow, her talking points are pretty much like exactly what we'd want to hear. And this is all stuff that Vince was saying. Interesting, right? So yeah, they're figuring it out and they're wondering like why else would Lauren switch up her pitch like that? It just doesn't make sense otherwise. So Morgan and Ashley go and chat alone and they're comparing notes some more on Lauren's different pitches from yesterday to that day. And they're definitely thinking that Vince told her what to say. And Morgan is also feeling like Vince cares way more about Lauren in this game than her. Yes. So Morgan is feeling like she's got to make moves for her own game. She can't just think about Vince's game all the time. So she says she is going to keep Keanu in any scenario because she knows that Keanu is going to be very important for her game. She says, I am voting Lauren out. So meanwhile, Kelly, she went to the HOH room to talk to Vince, and she's letting Vince know if Keanu wins the Blockbuster competition, I'm going to say over Lauren. I mean, I don't think she's wrong. But Vince is just like, he's telling her, I need Lauren here for my game. Like, I know you're on the block next to her, but like, I need her here. And Kelly's like, tough titties. She didn't say that, but she said, you shouldn't have put her up on the block then if you didn't want her to go. Right? Okay, so some other highlights from last night. Last night was crazy. So Ashley made a pitch to Ava for Lauren to go because Ashley wants to make sure that those votes are going to be there. She doesn't want to miss this shot. So Ashley's telling Ava, look, I know you love Lauren. She's such a sweetheart. She's wonderful. But if you keep Lauren in this game, you are helping Vince. Lauren is always going to be a number for Vince. And we can't just be signing a $750,000 check for someone else. So like Ashley was making a lot of good points during her pitch, but Ava just looked disgusted. She was looking at Ashley like she was not feeling this. I do not see her flipping her vote because as we know, and Ashley has acknowledged, Ava basically plays based on vibes. She is not going with the strategy here. So also last night, Lauren did have a chat with Morgan. Lauren was like trying to campaign, if you could call it that. She's not very good at it, but she was arguing that Keanu and Kelly would both put Morgan and Vince up on the block together. And Lauren was telling Morgan, I wouldn't put both of you up. I trust Vince. I would not put him up. So she's basically admitting to Morgan that she would put her up on the block. But she wouldn't be next to Vince. What kind of campaign is that? But Morgan's like, I'm going to sleep on it. So Lauren reports back to Vince after this chat. And Lauren is crying. She's like, I think I'm going home. I don't think Morgan's going to keep me. And she's telling Vince, I told you this would happen. This game means as much to me as it does to you. Like, this really, really sucks. I told you not to do this. And Vince is like, all right, I'm going to talk to Morgan. I'm going to try to figure this out. So Vince tries to clean things up with Morgan. He's trying to reel her back in. He's pulling out the long hugs. He's pulling out the I love yous. And then he starts saying, like, I want the best for you in this game. I'm your biggest fan. He's crying about how he never thought that he would meet someone like her in this game. She has been his comfort in a place of vulnerability. And he's like, I hope that we're in each other's lives no matter what for a very long time. And I can't express in words what you mean to me. Blah, blah, blah. Like, this was really sounding like the speech that they give on The Bachelor before the proposal. It was a lot, but then he's like pivoting a little bit and he tells Morgan, if you evict Lauren, I feel like I'm going to be watching my entire game dissolving in front of my eyes. I will feel like a fool, especially if you leave then in like an elimination game or something. Like, I will have no one. So it's Morgan's turn, and Morgan brings up that the way that Vince has acted while Lauren's game has been in danger is so different compared to the way that he has acted when Morgan was in danger. Oh, yeah. Like, he was not putting up a freaking stink like this when Morgan was in danger. So she says, it seems like Lauren is your real final two. And I know that I'm going to have to win my way to the end. People do not want to go to the end with me. And she's heard from Keanu that Vince has said he does not want to go to the end with Morgan because he doesn't think he can beat her. So Vince is claiming up and down that he would pick Morgan to go to the final two. Yeah, there was no decision last night. There were multiple I love yous from Vince, and he's like, I want you to know, like, I really do love you. And Morgan told him the feeling is mutual. Unless you piss me off. I don't know. But yeah, they were both staying up awfully late the night before a very big day. So I don't know. They're gonna be tired today. We'll see what happens. But today, Lauren again is telling Vince how scared she is. She feels like she's gonna go home if she does not win this blockbuster competition. And the reality is, she might. It really depends who wins that comp. So Vince is telling her, no, you're going to stay. I'm going to keep you if there's a tie. There's not even going to be a tie. You're going to be fine. And Lauren is telling Vince, I know that I need you in this game. So if I do stay, I will continue to protect you for as long as I can. Ugh, she can go. But she says, if I do end up getting evicted, you probably won't have my jury vote. Probably. Even after all this, no, it's too much. So Morgan and Ashley check in, and Morgan says, again, Keanu cannot leave tonight. She really wants Keanu to stick around and be a shield for her. And Ashley says she's letting God decide what's best for their game. Not letting God decide, but basically what she's saying is it comes down to who wins the blockbuster. Because she says if it's Kelly versus Keanu, Kelly goes. If it is Lauren versus Kelly, she says it's time for Lauren to go. Oh, she didn't really talk about Keanu versus Lauren because that one is kind of like out of their hands because they could force the tie, but then it's going to come down to what Vince wants. And like, let's be real, Vince is probably going to keep Lauren. But yeah, as far as we can see, Ashley and Morgan still on board to vote out Lauren if the opportunity presents itself. Lauren also campaigned to both Morgan and Ashley again today. Super long conversations with both of them. Here's what you need to know from this. Lauren was like, I'm not going to go around the house telling people what they want to hear and like making deals. What are you doing? Like, this is Big Brother. You're not even going to try. Like, again, she's not telling them, like, if I win HOH, I'm not going to put you up. Like, she's pretty much saying, yeah, I'm going to put you up. But, like, it's me. Don't vote me out. I don't think her campaign changed any minds. Morgan and Ashley were both just like, yeah, I'm thinking, I've got to think about it. Like, I still got to talk to some people. That's not a good sign. So, as it stands now, if we have Kelly versus Keanu, Kelly goes. If we have Kelly versus Lauren, it looks like Lauren goes because I think Ashley, Morgan, and Keanu all vote her out, even without Vince's blessing. And if it's Lauren versus Keanu, I think it could be a tie. And then I think Vince votes out Keanu, even though Vince has been promising both Lauren and Keanu that he would break the tie in their favor. But that's just par for the course for Vince, right? But I do think that he keeps Lauren. And Morgan would be livid. But yeah, they got the Blockbuster competition tonight. I didn't see a preview for it. Let me see if one has come out since I've been streaming. Let me see. I know it's probably really boring to watch me on my phone, but let me just see if it's out there. Has anybody seen what the comp is going to be? Anybody? Okay, wait, we have it. What is it?
Into their pit, find their colored ball.
It's the clown shoe one.
Over this edge into the tube.
Okay.
They have to drop 4 balls into that tube, one at a time.
Okay. So they have to go into this pit and retrieve a certain color ball and then bring it back over, hang over a ledge, and drop the ball into the tube. So it's clown shoe plus, clown shoe bonus comp. Okay, interesting. I mean, it really is anybody's competition, right? This could be anybody. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. Will all of the balls in Keanu's pit be near the top? I don't know. But we'll see how it goes. So also, there's going to be 2 house guests leaving tonight. It is double eviction. So it'll be either Kelly, Keanu, or Lauren leaving for the first one. And then who knows what's going to happen for part 2. But I want to thank you all so much for being here. I want to give a special thanks to all of our super chatters. You guys are amazing. All right. Christopher Brown, thank you so much. Christopher says, Lauren going home on Vince's HOH would be chef's kiss. I agree. It would be wild. Glad this season is still kind of spicy after the Rachel era. Yeah, I mean, I think most of that is due to the Vorgan drama. I don't know that it would be as interesting without them because they are messy. They are very messy, but it has been interesting since Rachel left. Is it good gameplay? Not really, but it's been interesting. I mean, it's been great gameplay for Morgan making this move happen potentially, but what was Vince thinking? Connor Benson, oh my goodness, thank you so much for the very generous super chat. And Connor says, for dramatics, I need Keanu to win the blockbuster and Vince to break a tie between Lauren and Morgan. I need that laugh. Wait, Lauren and Morgan? But Morgan's not on the block. Now for this end game, looking at the optics, it is best if Lauren goes. Vince will have no choice but to hang on to Morgan. Yeah, I would love, or did you mean like a break a tie between Lauren and Kelly? But I feel like the votes would be there to take out Lauren without a tie because Keanu would also be voting for Lauren to go. And that's the most entertaining option in my opinion, for sure. And yeah, I want to see Lauren go. I think that would be fun. Thank you again to Connor. Laura G, thank you so much. Laura says, do they know that tonight is a double? They don't know for sure. They do suspect that, like, there's probably going to be more than one person leaving, but they're kind of hung up on, like, is this a traditional double? Is this a triple? Is this a regular eviction and then an elimination game following it? Like, they have no idea what to think, right? They don't even know how many people would be on the block if it is a double. So they're kind of in the dark, but they know, like, something's got to be up, right? Because there's only a little over a week left and there's still 7 people. So they know something's probably going down, but they don't know exactly what it is. Benjamin, thank you so much. Benjamin says, looks like Blockbuster is Keanu's to lose, but I'm glad they're using that comp for BB instead of the double eviction veto. Yeah, that is usually like a veto one for the double. Hopefully the double comps are equitable. Who do you think are the safest going into the double? That's a good question. Safest going into the double. I would say probably Ava is pretty safe because there are just like so many bigger fish to fry. I think people are going to be looking at Morgan, Kelly, Keanu. I mean, it's tough to say because, like, depending on who goes first, if Lauren goes or Kelly goes, I mean, even Keanu could be leaving. It's going to depend on that first elimination, but I feel like Ava and honestly, maybe even Vince are the safest because I just don't know that that target is going to be on Vince, unfortunately. I hope I'm wrong. But Benjamin also wants to know, as much as as much as I dislike Kelly, hope she survives tonight because she's the only one that will prevent a Vince steamroll. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. I'm almost wishing that Kelly would win the second, like the HOH, and take a shot at Vince because I think she would potentially go after him. I don't know if anybody else really would. I guess Ava would, but like, I don't know that the votes would be there. I don't know. But Lauren slash Keanu will run back to him. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how many times Vince has walked all over multiple allies and they just come back to him. I don't get it. How many chances is he going to get? But it would be nice to see him targeted for sure. Brian Hitzone 37, thank you so much for the super chat. And he says, we hope Kelly stays. Yeah, I mean, as annoying as Kelly is to me, she's not the one that I want to leave the most or even the second most. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But thank you all so much for being here. I'm gonna go because I got some stuff to do before the episode tonight. So I will see you later for the recap of the double. And I hope you all have a great night. Keep your fingers crossed for a good episode. And until later, much love. Bye, everybody. Bye.